Anran was reincarnated into the world of quadrangle novels, and it wasn't until the age of 18 that he regained all his consciousness from his previous life. My father worked as a security officer, sacrificing his confidentiality work, leaving only my mother and sister with advanced cancer. Awakening to the altar of all realms, one can offer sacrifices to all things and receive gifts. Treat my mother's illness, take my sister to the mountains for hunting, go fishing in the water, and lead a good life for the whole family. Going to the countryside to cut in line. It may be difficult for others, but it happens to be just right for us. Who gives us golden fingers? Isn't it fragrant to avoid a big storm? But before that, we need to calculate the cost of taking advantage of our family and bullying our orphaned and widowed mother. Engaging in intrigue and deceit. Are you tired? As long as you have absolute strength, why bother talking so much? Crush it. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 001. Golden Finger, Fun Operation. New Book Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the early summer of 1968, the weather in 49 cities was relatively cool, at least in the morning and evening, and it was quite hot from noon to noon. At around 11 o'clock that evening, there was silence in a courtyard in Nanluoga Lane. Even the chickens in Su Damao's chicken cage in the backyard were sleeping. In the inner room of the east wing, on the lower bunk of a wooden high and low bed, lay a handsome boy who looked young but had quite handsome features. Some of his overly thin and weak body gave him a hint of feminine temperament, coupled with his slightly furrowed eyebrows even when he fell asleep. If this were to be put into later generations, it would definitely make many male celebrities feel inferior and drive countless young girls crazy. However, in the next moment, this handsome face, like all kinds of old readers, suddenly became frightened. The originally tightly closed eyes suddenly opened, and the whole person sat up like a spring in an instant. Shit! Anran instinctively greeted the plant and then gasped heavily. Who? The heavy panting sound was like pulling a bellows, combined with the lingering fear on the handsome face. It was obvious that he had just had a nightmare, not just an ordinary nightmare. In fact, it is indeed like this. In his dream, Anran discovered that he had actually traveled to the world of poultry-filled quadrangles, watching himself grow up, seeing himself have a younger sister, and watching his father be named a martyr due to work sacrifice. Watching my mother live with her siblings, both hard and tired, and eventually unable to get up. Watching the hospital give a desperate test result, late-stage colon cancer. Not to mention, in this 18-year dream of life, Anran also personally experienced the atmosphere of neighborhood harmony in the courtyard. Zhonghai, the first uncle who enjoys moral kidnapping, and Lu Haizhong, the second uncle who is determined to become an official but lacks the ability. Regardless of whether it's life or work, or even calculating one's own children, it is said that Bugui, the third master who has reincarnated with the power of calculation, is the third master. The deaf old lady, who is the oldest and has the status of a 5-guarantee household, is jokingly referred to as the ancestor of a courtyard house. On the surface, she may seem deaf and dizzy, but in reality, she is a cunning old man. In his 30s, he still hasn't been able to find a partner yet. He knows all day long that he is not compatible with the widow Qin, and despite being sucked by the Jia family for so many years, he still enjoys it. He is also the god of war in the courtyard, Yuzhu. In addition, there are the 3 lowly guests of the Jia family, the notorious thief of the holy wand who was already able to enter the house at a young age, the scheming prostitute Qinhuai who only knows how to show off her coquettishness despite having a good skin bag, and the chubby and gluttonous old shrew Jia Zhang who can easily throw tantrums. Anran is just a good guy. Wait a moment. This is... Anran, who had slightly regained his composure, looked at his surroundings with some confusion. The small room and high and low beds separated from him, as well as the extremely rudimentary indoor environment, and the red posters on the walls with a strong sense of the times. At the same time, Anran felt a sudden jolt in his brain, and his dreams and reality blended seamlessly in an instant. Let him immediately understand that what he had seen before was not a dream at all, but his life after being reincarnated into this world. That's right, it's not about time travel, it's about reincarnation. Damn it. It's not even a dream. I don't know if it was a problem during the process of reincarnation, or something similar to being a fan during pregnancy that led Anran to witness his new birth from a third-party perspective, making him think he had a long dream. At this moment, a mysterious light that seemed to run through the past, present, future, and infinite multiverse suddenly bloomed in Anran's mind. The indescribable brilliance quickly condensed into an altar composed of 6 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. At the same time, information about this altar instantly flooded into Anran's mind and was easily digested and absorbed. Wanjia altar. Can we offer sacrifices once a day? Can you receive gifts from all heavens and all realms every time you offer sacrifices? In theory, anything can be used for sacrifice. The higher the value of the sacrificial item, the higher the value of the gift. Gone. Isn't this the legendary golden finger? But why isn't my golden finger a system? Why isn't there a system assistant? Negative review. Fortunately, roast goes back to roast, and Anran clearly knows that the altar of the world is the biggest capital for him to settle down in this time and space, and there is no one. Especially after being reincarnated into this world, my mother actually contracted colon cancer due to overwork and it was still in its advanced stage. In order to take care of the siblings and save some family, I forcibly moved back from the hospital to the courtyard, relying on a little Chinese medicine every day to hang my life. Who knows when I won't be able to hold on and pass away. Now that I'm fine, with the Wanjia altar, Mom's illness will definitely be cured, but the offerings are a problem. According to the information I have absorbed before, it is indeed possible to make a wish during the sacrifice. However, if the value of the sacrifice is not enough, the consequences will be very serious or even fatal. So the question is, what kind of sacrifice can cure Mom's illness? Anran sat on the bed with a frown, completely awake. He knew very well that after his father passed away, the living conditions at home were initially good. After all, his father sacrificed himself for work and was even named a martyr. But after my mother fell ill, she spent a lot of money on medical treatment, and her previous pension and savings were already depleted. It is precisely for this reason that Anran's mother came back home from the hospital to rest and recuperate with determination. In fact, if it weren't for Anran's tough attitude, his mother would probably have saved even the traditional Chinese medicine she had to drink every day. Wait a moment. Anran suddenly had a flash of inspiration and quickly began to recall the information he had just absorbed about the Wanjia altar. He quickly found the content he wanted. Maybe it's really possible. Thinking of this, Anran couldn't wait any longer and quickly got up and got out of bed. "Brother, what are you doing?" A clearly confused voice suddenly sounded from the bed above. "Nan, I'll go see Mom." Anran glanced at his sister sleeping on the upper bunk. "It shouldn't be anything, you can keep sleeping." "Oh, call me if you have something," said Lianshin, feeling a bit confused. She quickly fell asleep again. Anran turned around and tucked the other person in a blanket, then lifted the curtain of the compartment door and arrived outside. The outer room is also a bedroom. It used to be the bedroom of Anran's father Zijian and mother Qinjun. Now, only Qinjun is still sleeping outside. Late-stage cancer generally has a common characteristic, which is pain. To get a good night's sleep, one can only rely on painkillers. However, painkillers are easily addictive and can cause great harm to the body. In Qinjun's current situation, he cannot eat too much. It's strange to be able to sleep well in this situation. "Son. Mom, did I wake you up?" Li Anran quickly walked to the bedside and gently pressed his mother back. "Don't get up, I'm just here to see you. Would you like to get up for a moment?" "No need, Mom is fine, Mom is very good." Qinhuai's pale face pulled out a smile. "You go back to sleep, don't worry about me." Li Anran, who has been a person of 2 generations, did not suffer from cancer, but when he was reincarnated, it was already 2022, and there was a vast amount of information online. "How did you say that? I have never eaten pork and have seen pigs run." Li Anran is well aware that not all late-stage cancers will be painful, but it is clear that this mother belongs to the more painful type. "Mom, don't talk yet, let me take a look." Li Anran finished speaking, regardless of whether his mother agreed or not. He reached out and pressed his hand on the edge of the previous incision, then silently recited in his heart. "Wanjia altar, I want to sacrifice the cancer cells in my mother's body." Chapter 002. Gene Optimization Solution, New Book Seeking Flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In Li Anran's view, since theoretically any object can be used as a sacrifice to the altar of the world, why can't cancer cells be used? Even though Li Anran did not major in medicine in his previous life, he knew that cancer cells are different from normal cells in that they have 3 major characteristics: unlimited proliferation, transformability, and easy metastasis. They can proliferate infinitely and destroy normal cellular tissues. Even some medical institutions believe that cancer cells may be the key to human immortality, but how could they be of no value? Okay, Li Anran doesn't mind if there is any value, as long as he can offer sacrifices. However, this attempt was just an attempt. To be honest, even Li Anran himself didn't think it would be successful. However, just after he proposed the idea of offering sacrifices, a brilliant brilliance that ordinary people cannot see suddenly bloomed. The radiance comes and goes quickly, disappearing cleanly in less than a normal breath. If it weren't for Li Anran's certainty that the Wanjia altar in his mind had completed the sacrifice, he would have thought it was just an illusion of his own concern and chaos. The first sacrifice is completed. Trigger a mysterious gift, name. Gene Optimization Solution ×1, explanation. A product from a science fiction world, which can be optimized at the genetic level after taking it, can give the user a strong physique and a certain chance of acquiring specialties. In theory, the stronger the gene, the better the effect of the drug. After Li Anran absorbed the feedback from the Wanjia altar, he was stunned for a moment, and then ecstatic. He never imagined that his mischievous manipulation of exploiting loopholes would be successful, let alone that after sacrificing cancer cells in his mother's body, he would receive such a great gift. "Son, are you okay?" Qinhuai looked at his son, first closing his eyes and then showing a happy expression, and couldn't help but feel a little worried. Could it be that Li Anran's illness has caused some mental problems? "Mom, don't you feel better about yourself?" Li Anran, who was awakened to his senses, quickly looked at his mother eagerly. "Son, Mom's okay, it's really not." Qinhuai initially just habitually comforted his son, but as he spoke, he realized that the pain from thrusting seemed to have really subsided. This is normal. The prolonged pain has caused Qinhuai to form a physical illusion, but the illusion is ultimately an illusion. "Mom, feel better again, isn't it really painless anymore?" Li Anran quickly said. Qinhuai carefully felt it and even reached out to gently press on his lower abdomen. "Ha! It really doesn't hurt anymore." "Great." Li Anran waved his hand vigorously, his face full of joy. "Mom, your illness is over. Are you okay?" Qinhuai was stunned for a moment, then nodded with a smile. "I just said I'm okay. Look, it's really not painful now." Li Anran knew that his mother didn't believe him yet, and just now he was just comforting himself by following his words. "Mom, let me tell you this." Li Anran hesitated for a moment before starting to say, "Your illness has really improved. When I was dreaming before, I dreamed of an old man with a white beard and asked if I had any wishes. I just said that my only wish now is to hope that my mother's illness can be cured, and then I can live a good little life with my daughter in a healthy way. Then the old man with a white beard said, for the sake of my filial piety, he will help me fulfill this wish. Then I woke up, but I remembered the things in my dream very clearly, so I came to see you. I didn't expect the dream to be true. It's not surprising that Anran made up such an unreliable story, let alone that he doesn't trust his mother. As the old saying goes, if a ruler is not confidential, he will lose his position. If a minister is not confidential, he will lose his position. If a few things are not confidential, he will be harmed. Before mastering sufficient self-protection ability, keeping secrets from one's mother and sister is actually for their good. After all, Pifu is innocent and harbors guilt. This. Qinjun was shocked. She definitely doesn't believe the white-bearded old man in this dream, but it's true that he doesn't hurt anymore. Mom, I know this is a bit strange, but it's not bad for us, is it? Anran comforted his mother with a smile. You should rest well first, and we'll see the situation tomorrow morning. Right. Qinjun could only nod along with his son's words. But after she didn't feel any pain, she did feel much more relaxed. However, the fatigue that had been suppressed for a long time quickly began to erupt, and in no time, Qinjun began to feel a bit confused. Anran quickly closed his mouth and smiled as he tucked his mother in the blanket. Then, instead of going back to the inner room, he went to the small living room outside the bedroom. Sitting at the dinner table, Anran's mind only moved. A container about 10 centimeters long, about the thickness of an adult's thumb, with metal at both ends and glass-like material in the middle, appeared in his hand. Anran carefully held the container and gently shook it. The deep blue liquid inside was clear and transparent, looking very beautiful. While receiving the gift, Anran knew how to use it. The best method is definitely injection, but it can also be taken directly, but the effect may be slightly worse. Anran wanted to inject himself, but the problem was that he didn't have a syringe at home either. After some thought, he simply took a glass from the tea tray and used a special technique to open the container in his hand, pouring out 1/3 of the clear and transparent blue liquid. Anran is not unaware that this bottle of gene optimization solution is a standard unit, enough to strengthen an adult's physique to an exaggerated level. If we were to talk about specific standards, it should be equivalent to Marvel's American Team. But he only plans to drink 1/3 of it, and the remaining 2/3 will be divided into his mother and sister. Anyway, with the Wanjia altar, there is no fear of not having such things to use in the future. After carefully tightening the lid of the container, Anran didn't hesitate and poured the limited gene optimization solution into his mouth. I thought the taste of this thing shouldn't be very good, but I didn't expect it to taste good, with a hint of blueberry flavor. After drinking the gene optimization solution from the cup, Anran poured some cold plain water into the teapot and gently shook the cup to make the most of every remaining drop of gene optimization solution. I poured 3 glasses of water in a row, and the glass was already the same as the one I had just washed, so there was no waste at all. Not letting Anran wait too long, he soon found himself becoming hot, as if a fire was being ignited inside his body. The gene optimization solution is starting to take effect. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 003. Yen Bugui's calculation, Zhonghai's private meeting with Qin. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At first, Anran could still hold back, but as his body grew hotter, he began to sweat profusely. He knew that the genetic optimization solution was starting to work, so he quickly stood up and walked back and forth. It was said that punching would be more effective at this time, but the problem was that after 2 lifetimes, Anran wouldn't know how to punch, and playing games was still about the same. I tried to move my body and even used a few moves from my previous life's memory, but obviously it didn't work. Forget it, anyway, there is the Wanjia altar here. Looking back and finding ways to make better offerings is not afraid of not getting better rewards. At this moment, Li Anran's reaction became even greater, with a large amount of sweat constantly emerging from his body, which quickly soaked through. Li Anran knew he couldn't continue like this, so he quickly grabbed a towel and wash basin, pushed open the door, and walked out to the public tap water in the courtyard to start rinsing and replenishing water. As for whether drinking tap water will cause stomach problems, no one is so particular these days. When thirsty, there is no cold water at home, so pouring air directly into the faucet is a routine operation. At the same time, at the house of Uncle San, who was living across the street, Aunt San was getting older and slept relatively lightly. Soon, she heard the commotion in the courtyard. Old companion. Grandpa Yen Bugui slept soundly. There seems to be some movement in the courtyard. What's going on? Yen Bugui immediately became more alert. There's the sound of water, you listen. Yen Bugui quickly listened and found that there was indeed a sound of water. It was obvious that someone was picking up water to wash something. What's so surprising about this? Yen Bugui relaxed in an instant. It must be a kid from the old Li family. It's probably his mother vomiting or pulling again. This thing hasn't happened twice. So they use so much water, they definitely have to pay more for the water bill, right? Aunt San was deeply influenced by her own man and was also very calculating. This matter, I really can't do it like this. Yen Bugui shook his head unexpectedly. Why? What do you think? How much is the water bill? Even Chen Jun is like that, and he didn't let anyone help him. Yen Bugui smiled shrewdly. You calculate, how much money did our family save here? This is also true. Aunt San's face suddenly changed. Moreover, it seems that Chen Jun hasn't been around for a few days. Yen Bugui's eyes were full of calculation. When she leaves, there will be only 2 children left in the Li family. Are you afraid there won't be any advantage to take advantage of? But Lao Li's family also has connections in the steel rolling mill, so it's tough, reminded Aunt San. Do you think I'm stupid? Yen Bugui had a confident expression on his face. Of course, we can't take advantage of this advantage. In the future, we can also help those 2 little guys from the Li family. It will be clear and straightforward then. Right, no one can pick a reason like this. Aunt San nodded repeatedly. Alright, go to sleep. Speak less, it's easy to get hungry. After Yen Bugui finished speaking, he forced himself to fall asleep again. At the same time, Li Anran, standing by the pool in the courtyard, had a strange expression on his face. Good guy, I'm just a good guy. Undoubtedly, it is the reincarnation of an abacus expert, and this calculation is truly indescribable. Wait a moment. Li Anran quickly realized what was wrong and quickly touched his ear. My hearing. Recalling the explanation about the gene optimization solution, Li Anran quickly had a guess. My listening skills are what I call strengths. Thinking of this, Li Anran instinctively looked at his lower abdomen, feeling somewhat regretful. Is it a swollen or fat matter? After Uncle and Aunt San both quieted down, Li Anran continued to replenish water and washed the sticky sweat from his body. After playing for half an hour, the fire in his body finally subsided quite a bit. Although it was still hot, it was already warm. Not only did he not sweat, but he was also quite comfortable. Li Anran took a deep breath and looked at his body, which was only wearing a pair of big shorts. The body, which was originally somewhat thin and weak, has now become much stronger. Although not as strong as those who specialize in fitness, and unable to compare with the American team, the soft and feminine aura that was originally brought about by being thin and weak has been swept away by the well-defined muscles. Not only on his body, but even on Li Anran's face, there have been some changes, becoming more handsome and sunny. What satisfied Li Anran the most was that the previous small regret had been made up for quite a bit. How about? Should I drink all the remaining gene optimization solution? Only 1/3 of it has such a change. If I drink it all, wouldn't I be able to become a muscle bully? On second thought, Anran still dispelled this idea. The cancer cells on the mother's body have been sacrificed, but her body will definitely be very weak. With gene optimization solution, the other person will quickly become healthy. And my younger sister Lianxin, drinking gene optimization liquid will definitely make her more beautiful, stronger, and smarter. Let's see who dares to bully her then. Forget it, we can still offer sacrifices later on. We're not afraid of not having the chance to get something similar, so don't compete with mom and sister. Thinking of this, Anran tidied up and prepared to go home, but just then, a sudden commotion came from the courtyard. Anran quickly flashed into the corner and disappeared into the darkness. After a while, a person poked their head out of the hanging flower gate from the front yard to the middle yard to look at the side of the Zilai pool, and immediately withdrew. How about it, have you left yet? Let's go, let's go. Did you really leave? Confirmed to leave. That's good. Let's go to the vegetable cellar, be safe. You can go, but what about things and money? Don't worry, everything is ready. How many are there? 20 pounds of stick noodles are for your mother.in.law. And what about me? I know you're tight, how about 20 yuan? That's pretty good, let's go. Amidst a faint sound, the two speakers quickly crawled into the vegetable cellar. When Anran walked out of the darkness again, his face was full of teasing and playful expressions. The woman is Qinhuai, but surprisingly, the man is not Yuzhu, but Zhonghai. On this big night, instead of sleeping, he burrowed into the cellar. This is because people are old and their hearts are not old. They want Qinhuai to give birth to a son for them to retire. Anran is a good guy, truly worthy of being a bird-filled courtyard house. Zhonghai, the first master, has always had a dignified image and enjoys morally kidnapping others to maintain and further enhance his reputation. Unexpectedly, he is such a person in private. Thinking of this, Anran's eyes rolled and he turned back to the room to put down the towel and basin. Then, under the cover of night, he passed through the hanging flower gate to the courtyard and finally quietly sneaked outside the vegetable cellar. Originally, Anran only wanted to come to the scene to catch adultery, but when he arrived, he heard Qinhuai ask a question. Mr. E, what do you say about the affairs of the old Li family? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 004. Qinhuai's malicious thoughts make him easy to become an old man in the sea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon hearing Qinhuai mention her own home, Anran's original plan to lock the vegetable cellar from outside suddenly stopped. Chen Jun's illness is incurable, and I think we'll have to leave in a few days, the voice clearly came from Zhonghai. As soon as she leaves, the only thing left in the Li family is the siblings, and we'll have more room to operate. In a few days, I really don't want to wait anymore. Qinhuai's voice was clearly a bit dissatisfied. They have 2 rooms in their family, and only with so many people in our family can we have 1 room. And the work of the Li family kid will definitely be arranged before that sick person dies. So what do you want? Can you find a way to make that sick basket die earlier? It's better to die suddenly. This. Upon hearing this, Anran's eyes immediately turned cold. He originally just wanted to lock the vegetable cellar and catch the traitors together, which would be a good revenge for the bullying of the Jia family and Zhonghai over the years. I never expected that the scheming bitch would be so ruthless. For the sake of my own house and job, I actually want to kill my mother. At that moment, Anran felt a bang in his heart, and a raging anger exploded. He was so angry that he wanted to rush into the vegetable cellar and sacrifice Qinhuai and Zhonghai directly. However, reason told him that although this was the most intuitive and convenient way to do it, there would inevitably be various troubles in the future. And it's really cheap to just kill the two of them like this. Before that, we need to first break the good reputation they have been running for many years, and then settle accounts with them properly. What's wrong? I'm afraid of it now. Qinhuai knew that the other party had already moved her heart, so she quickly added, I even gave you my body. Maybe I'll get pregnant someday. You don't want to be stuck in that small room after the child is born, do you? Also, with a job, our family will have an additional income, and our lives will definitely get better and better. Furthermore, that sick basket was already going to die, and what we did was actually helping the other party get rid of it earlier. We were doing good deeds and accumulating virtue. Upon hearing this, Anran was furious and clenched his hands tightly into fists, even piercing his palms with nails due to excessive force. In order to avoid being discovered, one must grit their teeth tightly and not make any sound to avoid startling the snake. That's understandable, Zhonghai nodded. Chen Jun's illness was indeed very painful. If it weren't for her two children, she probably would have left long ago and wouldn't have been delayed until now. If you nod your head earlier, the other party can relieve themselves and suffer less. In the future, let's help and support the young boys and girls of the Li family. I believe they will still thank us when the time comes. Undoubtedly a master of moral kidnapping, it is only natural to hear this. So you agreed. This matter needs to be discussed carefully, after all, it concerns human life. We'll have to discuss when. What if the Li family boy goes to the factory tomorrow? What are your plans? In my opinion, isn't that sick basket taking medicine? Let's make some moves in the medicine. Even if we find something, we can push it to the pharmacy. This is a solution. But what will the Li family's kid do? This is not difficult either. I heard that we are starting to engage in going to the mountains and countryside now. It happens that he is also of a suitable age, so we need to find a way to arrange for him to go to the countryside and cut in the queue. What about the girl from the Li family? Based on the insights of the Li siblings, if the Li family boy really wants to go to the countryside to cut in line, he will definitely bring his younger sister with him. By then, the 2 rooms of the Li family will be. No, Qinhuai didn't say anything, but the meaning in the words was expressed clearly and clearly. You really arranged our family so clearly. Anran's lips were bitten open by himself, but the more angry he was, the more he felt that he couldn't kill the other party so easily. Death too fast was definitely a cheap deal for the other party. This matter is feasible, but we alone are not enough, Zhonghai's eyes flickered. What do you mean? I will invite the old lady out here, with her in charge, and I believe even if there are problems, they can still be resolved. Yes, the old lady is the ancestor of our courtyard house, and both the street and the police station have to give face. Don't be idle on your end either. Although Li Zijian is dead, his relationship is still there. You can find someone with enough weight to arrange for the Li family's young man to go to the countryside and join the queue. What can I do? Their relationship is with the head of the security department. What can I do as an ordinary worker? You can contact Damao and then find Director Li through him. He is now in our factory and has the upper hand. With his intervention, arranging for the Li family's young man to go to the countryside and join the team is definitely not a problem. This is a solution, Qinhuai nodded. But Damao and Director Li are both masters who don't see rabbits and don't scatter eagles. They don't have enough benefits. How could they possibly help? Grandpa you have to help me. Perhaps knowing that there was no benefit, Zhonghai would not do his best to help. After Qinhuai finished speaking, he immediately took action. Standing outside the vegetable cellar, Anran listened to the indescribable sound inside, knowing that he had heard what he needed to hear. He then locked the door of the vegetable cellar and turned around to leave. After returning to the front yard, Anran took a few deep breaths and forced himself to calm down from his extremely angry state. After glancing at Grandpa Bugui's family, Anran knew he could come forward to find someone, but doing so would inevitably lead him directly into the vortex of this incident, which was obviously not the best arrangement. After a quick thought, Anran picked up a few stones and returned to his doorstep. The next moment, those stones were thrown out one after another. Thanks to the effectiveness of the gene optimization solution, Anran, who had increased his strength and control, easily threw these stones onto the roofs of Bugui, Yuzhu, Jia's, and Su Damao's backyard. The stone was not small, and in the sound of tiles shattering, people in various rooms were awakened one after another. What's going on? What's going on? Can't it be a thief? People who were worried about thieves entering the courtyard put on their clothes, grabbed their belongings, and pushed the door out. It wasn't because everyone was trying to maintain the safety of the courtyard, but simply because they were worried about their own home being stolen. When Bugui deliberately came out a little late, afraid of being stabbed by a thief, he would see the Li family door across from him also opened. Anran, what's going on? Uncle San, I don't know either, Anran said innocently. Let's go and take a look at the courtyard. I'm afraid it's not a sign of attracting thieves. Bugui didn't dare to go by himself, so he naturally had to bring a shield. At this point, more people also walked out, and as they increased, their courage naturally increased. Everyone began to use their tools to find thieves. In no time, the abnormality in the vegetable cellar was discovered by someone. Come on, I heard some noise in the vegetable cellar. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 005. The second grandpa presents his official's prestige, and he Yuzhu dismantles the platform. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Quickly, a group of people gathered around the vegetable cellar, with the second eldest son Lu Haizhong and the third eldest son Bugui walking at the forefront, as well as the quadrangle war god Yuzhu who came out to watch the excitement. At this point, a resident discovered something was wrong. Ha! Where's Grandpa E? Yeah, where's Master E? Why hasn't Grandpa E come? Lu Haizhong's face turned black as he was about to speak. He had just realized that Zhonghai had not come. I was originally secretly happy in my heart. If Zhonghai, the first uncle, didn't come over for such a big thing, wouldn't I, the second uncle, be able to show my face? Who would have thought that someone would pick up a pot without opening it? Aunt E is here, everyone, hurry up and ask. Aunt E, where's Grandpa E? I don't know, maybe I had a stomachache and went to the public restroom, right? Oh, it's too dangerous to go to the public restroom at night, isn't it? This is really not flattering. Public toilets in these days are indeed very dangerous. Because they are all dry toilets, and regardless of the era, there are always those who are not aware, so the environment in the toilet is not generally bad. Not to mention late at night, people accidentally fall during the day, and some unlucky people even fall directly into the cesspool. It is said that there have been lives, can it not be dangerous? There's a flashlight, it should be okay, said Aunt E with a somewhat forced expression. As the person next to Zhonghai, it is impossible to completely conceal some things from her. But who made Aunt E unable to give birth to a son and a half-daughter for the Lao E family in all these years? In this era, there are 3 types of unfilial piety, and having no offspring is the greatest. This is not just a simple statement. In the case of the Zhonghai family, it sounds like they are old and unemployed. In fact, the reason why Zhonghai always likes to engage in moral kidnapping and likes to build a good reputation is also partly because he wants to avoid the occurrence of his own family being wiped out. Similarly, this is also the real reason why Zhonghai has been trying his best to find someone to take care of him. Since Grandpa 1 is not here, then I, Grandpa 2, will be the leader. Lu Haizhong put his hands behind his back, showing a leadership style. This guy has indeed served as a leader, the captain of the steel mill worker inspection team, and is definitely a powerful figure in the current period of great storms. But this guy has the heart to be a leader, but he doesn't have the ability to be a leader. He originally wanted to pit Su Damao, but was unexpectedly stabbed and killed by Su Damao. He lost his position as captain, not to mention being a level 7 welder, and can only sweep the road in the factory. Finally encountering something that can showcase one's leadership identity, can Lu Haizhong not seize it? Who was that just now? Are you sure there was any movement inside? I'm sure. This is the head of the household living in the backyard. It seems that this thief has a lot of brains. He knows how to hide in such a place. Lu Haizhong nodded with an expression of complete mastery. I said, the door of this vegetable cellar is locked from the outside. No matter how powerful the thief is, it's impossible for him to lock himself inside, right? War God Yuzhu smiled and opened his mouth, making Lu Haizhong unable to come down. It's just that, can it be causing a mouse disturbance? It's really possible. I guess, with such a big commotion, the thief had already run away. That's right, it seems like there's nothing else going on. Listening to the discussions outside, Qinhuai and Zhonghai in the vegetable cellar breathed a sigh of relief. Although being locked inside can be troublesome, it's better than finding a spot. At this moment, Anran leaned towards Lu Haizhong. Second Grandpa, is it possible to make a mouse and open it to see if it's okay? Even if the person is not inside, what if the stolen items are left inside before they can be taken away? The central planes of the bangs were originally made difficult by Yuzhu, and upon hearing these words, he immediately became energized. After taking a glance at Anran who had finished speaking and then closed his mouth, he made sure that the other party had no intention of snatching the limelight before opening his mouth. Is it a rat or a thief? What's the point of just talking? We need to present facts and evidence when we're doing things now. Come on, find someone to open the door and I'll see what's going on inside. Upon hearing these words, Qinhuai and Zhonghai's hearts immediately lifted again as they had just put them back into their stomachs. Second Grandpa, aren't you just causing trouble? Why don't you go home and sleep when you have time? Yuzhu continued to dismantle the platform. Besides, you thought you were the captain of the workers' inspection team before, so why don't you make trouble? After hearing these words in the vegetable cellar, Zhonghai not only didn't feel happy but also felt a thump in his heart. He is very clear about what kind of person is in the bangs. If Yuzhu doesn't say this, it's probably not much. When he says this, the bangs will definitely open the door for the sake of face. Silly pillar. Lu Haizhong let out a sigh of anger, his greasy and chubby face almost deformed with anger. Even if I'm not the captain anymore, I'm still the second master of this courtyard. Since the first uncle is not here, I, the second uncle, have the final say. Someone, open the door, I don't believe it anymore. Even if the thief is not inside, what if the thief's dirt falls inside? Yes, when people are not around, things can be hidden inside. Someone suddenly felt that this statement made sense. Especially the third master Yan Bugui, as soon as he heard that there might be thieves and dirt, he might even be able to gain some benefits, which was why he opened a golden mouth. I personally think the second master is right. Just open the door and take a look at the situation. Even if there is no one or nothing, what can happen? It's a good thing that everyone hasn't lost anything, and it won't waste much time. Upon hearing this, Zhonghai's heart sank instantly. This is it. Okay, you two, one is the second and the other is the third. I won't argue with you two. Don't blame me for not reminding you when you look back. Yuzhu can be considered to have filled up his mockery skills, his face full of expressions of watching the show. The more angry you are, the more angry you are. Quickly, a key was found to open the door of the vegetable cellar. This place is quite hidden, and it can be considered a small basement. Usually, it is used to pile up some vegetables, but it is mostly for winter. It's early summer now, and everyone's winter-stored cabbage has long been eaten up. At this moment, the vegetable cellar is empty, without even a Tibetan's place. Well, when a few flashlight beams shone in, two figures were immediately exposed. There are really people. The thief is really inside. Hurry up and have someone catch the thief. By the way, arrange for someone to report to the police and have the police station come. Upon hearing this, Zhonghai couldn't sit still. If we really call the police officers from the police station, there would be no room for a turnaround in this matter. Stop taking photos, it's me. Isn't this Mr. Yi's voice? Why is he inside? At this moment, someone finally saw clearly the situation inside the vegetable cellar. Qinhuai. Who? It's Qinhuai from the courtyard, she's also in the vegetable cellar. What's going on? Qinhuai and Zhonghai don't sleep at night, how could they come here? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's faces immediately showed expressions of, "Oh, I understand," and at the same time, countless wonderful scenes were added to their minds. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 006. At the scene of the rape, Jia Zhang's family threw a tantrum and mourned. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Despite Zhonghai's usually dignified demeanor, he has also managed his reputation quite well. But when I saw that he and Qinhuai had been locked up in the vegetable cellar, according to later generations, it was collapse of the house. Wow, Master Yi is actually with Qinhuai. I said, Master Yi always likes to help the Qinhuai family, so he always encourages everyone to donate. That's right, I heard that Qinhuai was doing a terrible job in the factory. It turns out that Master Yi was there to protect her. Faced with everyone's discussions, Zhonghai remained unchanged. Qinhuai, what are you doing? Yuzhu, who was severely hit, couldn't help but rush forward. You should know that he regards Qinhuai as his forbidden territory, and what is his goal after helping the Jia family for so many years? Isn't it just the body of Qinhuai? Now that it's good, at most I'm just using my hands, but this ripe peach was actually picked by someone else. It's really my most respected uncle, Zhonghai. How can I bear it? Silly pillar, don't be misled by those with ulterior motives, Zhonghai explained calmly. I discovered a thief had entered the courtyard before, so I quietly came out to check the situation. I happened to encounter Qinhuai who came out to use the restroom, so I thought that having an extra person could also be useful in critical moments. I didn't expect that thief to be too cunning. He even led us into the vegetable cellar and locked the door from outside. Yes, I had a stomachache at night. After going to the bathroom, I came back and happened to meet Grandpa Yi to check the situation. Qinhuai quickly agreed, I'm not sure about the situation, and it ended up dragging Grandpa Yi down. Not to mention, someone really believed the testimony of the two, including Yuzhu. After all, Zhonghai's reputation is usually there, and Qinhuai is also very good at managing her own reputation. Some people with simple ideas are really easy to be deceived. But just then, suddenly a voice rang out. What kind of smell is this? Why is it strange? Upon hearing these words, everyone instinctively took a few breaths, and suddenly a smell similar to disinfectant but somewhat different was highlighted. Everyone present is adults, who hasn't smelled such a smell before. At this moment, no one cared who had just spoken, and all the eyes looking at Zhonghai and Qinhuai became extremely delicate. Faced with these gazes, Zhonghai and Qinhuai's hearts suddenly pounded. The two of them had just been paying attention to their confession, but forgot that it was already early summer and they didn't have much clothes on their bodies. Previously, Qinhuai gave Zhonghai a lot of sweetness in order to help her. The two of them, you know my strengths and weaknesses, and I know your depth. After a simple conversation, it's strange whether the taste is strong or not in an airtight place like a vegetable cellar. Zhonghai, what else do you have to say? The center of the bangs was filled with joy, and the greasy and chubby face was about to be written with the words, I'm very naughty. You're not a fool who doesn't understand anything. Since losing his position as the captain of the workers' inspection team, he has been thinking about how to bring himself back to the peak. With such a good opportunity in hand right now, as long as Zhonghai can be defeated, won't the first master of this courtyard be himself? I said, these are all the methods of that thief. Zhonghai calmly defended himself, the pure are self-righteous. I, Zhonghai, have always been fair and upright in my work. I will definitely not do such dirty things. I have a clear conscience. Okay. Since you say you have a clear conscience, I'm sure you're not afraid of an investigation. Lu Haizhong didn't plan to give up like this. Come on, find 2 people to go to the police station and bring them over. I believe the police officers at the police station can definitely clear your name. Speaking of which, he was also afraid that Yuzhu would demolish the platform and look directly at the other party. Silly pillar, since Mr. E has a clear conscience, I believe you don't mind having the police station come to prove it, do you? This. Yuzhu hesitated. Although he did believe a bit in the words of Zhonghai and Qinhuai, the cellar had a strange smell and even suspicious water stains on the ground in the middle of the night. Even though he was still a bachelor with a mother and fetus single for more than 30 years, he had seen pigs run without eating pork. Upon hearing these words, Qinhuai felt a thump in her heart. If it really had caused trouble at the police station, it would have been over. Second grandpa, can you stop making such a big deal out of nothing? Why am I so small? Before Lu Haizhong could finish speaking, a fat figure rushed over and shook hands at Qinhuai's face. With a sound of pia, the sound became even more crisp. Qinhuai, you despicable woman. How dare you steal from me behind my back? Listening to this splashing voice, I don't need to think it was Jia Zhang who came. Oh my God. Oh my God, open your eyes. My daughter.in.law is stealing. Hurry up and strike this adulterous couple to death with a thunderbolt. Good guy. The situation that was just barely stabilized by Zhonghai suddenly collapsed again. Zhonghai's face instantly turned extremely ugly, as he responded to that sentence, not afraid of opponents like gods, but afraid of teammates like pigs. Even though he may not know this sentence from later generations, it does not prevent this Mr. One from having a similar feeling at this moment. Mom, I didn't steal anyone, don't talk nonsense. Qinhuai, who was covering her face, burst into tears in an instant. I have to admit, this little widow is indeed very handsome, even though she is now the mother of 3 children, her facial features are still there. Combined with her plump physique, it feels a bit unfair to describe her as still charming. No wonder Yuzhu is rushing to be vampired. Who wouldn't think that a typical man would have such a woman? In fact, if it weren't for the strict scrutiny of every household in the courtyard, there wouldn't be more than Yuzhu bowing down under Qinhuai's work pants. I'm talking nonsense. You're a damn bereaved star. I should have let you enter our Jia family's door from the beginning, you're not worthy. Killed my son and now he's stealing from me behind his back. If you're not cheap, who's cheap? Surprisingly, you still have the face to say that I'm not tearing apart your naughty face. Jia Zhang pounced on Qinhuai as she spoke, but she forgot that she was just a chubby waist. Qinhuai, no matter how unbearable, was also a worker working in a steel rolling mill, coupled with her young age. Previously, Qinhuai was hit with such a big mouth because she had ulterior motives, but now Qinhuai is not foolish enough to be beaten again. Especially her face, she still points at it to eat. So facing the rushing Jia Zhang, although she didn't dare to fight back, she pushed the person back with both hands. Completely unaware of this, Zhang took several steps back and sat down on the ground with a thud before finally standing still. The people who watched the commotion were very clear about Zhang's character, and even if they didn't pay attention, they had to say 3 points. So when they saw her retreat, they immediately dispersed, afraid of being falsely accused by the other party. "How dare you hit me? Oh my goodness, open your eyes and send this lowly woman to the 18th level of hell, where she can never be reborn." Looking at Zhang on the nickname, Anran's eyes, hidden among the melon-eating crowd, were full of a relieved expression. But where is this? Revenge has just begun. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 007. Su Damao takes the opportunity to cause trouble, second uncle drops. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The mournful cries of Zhang, the crying of Qinhuai, and the lively discussions of everyone made the vegetable seller appear unusually lively. What's going on? You're not sleeping at night, why are you making so much noise? A slightly annoyed voice suddenly rang out, it's delaying my rest. Believe it or not, I'll catch you all tomorrow, criticize and fight hard. Everyone, as soon as they see someone, immediately move aside on both sides. The visitor is none other than Su Damao from the backyard. After removing the bangs from the stage, the goods hug director Li's thigh. Although he has not yet taken up the position of deputy director of the Revolutionary Committee of the Steel Rolling Plant, he is also a senior general in the hands of Director Li and the captain of the Steel Rolling Plant Worker Inspection Team. Don't underestimate this captain. He may sound like a petty official, but in reality, he is a real powerful figure. Moreover, as we are currently in a period of great storm, not to mention the people in the courtyard, even a steel rolling mill with tens of thousands of people generally does not dare to displease Su Damao. Su Damao, you have to make up your own mind for me. Zhang was also shameless. After seeing Su Damao come, she hugged his leg and said, my despicable daughter.in.law stayed up for most of the night, having an affair with Zhonghai, an old rascal, in the vegetable cellar. Su Damao drank a lot of alcohol tonight and went to bed after returning. It was Jingru who finally woke him up to see what was going on when he heard something wrong. Don't be a thief. Su Damao, who had been disturbed by his good sleep, was originally very angry, and his mind kept buzzing due to drinking and not sleeping well. As soon as he heard Zhang's crying, he was instantly awakened. Not only did he sober up, but he also became completely sober. Wait a moment, Qinhuai and Zhonghai are having an affair. Su Damao was ecstatic in his heart, but on the surface, he looked at Lu Haizhong calmly. Second Master, can you tell me what happened on this big night? Lu Haizhong, this person, indeed has a lot of resentment towards Su Damao. After all, if it weren't for him, he would still be an official now. But this guy definitely bullies the weak and fears the hard. Now that Su Damao is in power, Lu Haizhong has not even managed to secure his job as a level 7 welder, so he dares not provoke the other party. Captain Su, that's what's going on. Lu Haizhong forced a smile on his greasy and chubby face. At night, I heard some unusual movements and thought it was a thief entering the courtyard, so I gathered everyone to come out and catch the thief. But we found some movement in the vegetable cellar. When we came over to take a look, Qinhuai and Zhonghai were inside. However, it is not yet certain whether they were adulterous, but the taste inside is quite strange. Upon hearing this, Su Damao quickly took a deep breath. Not to mention, there was indeed a scent that he was very familiar with. Old Lu, don't talk nonsense. Zhonghai became anxious. He knew Su Damao's personality, and if he was convicted of adultery, he wouldn't be finished. I also heard the news and came out to catch the thief, and accidentally ran into Qinhuai. We heard some movement in the vegetable cellar, that's why. Shut up. Su Damao finally found an opportunity, but how could he get away from Zhonghai? You are now a suspect. You should shut up before you speak. Don't try to collude in confessions in front of everyone. Zhonghai's face looked ugly. Qinhuai knew very well that at times like this, she would say more and make more mistakes, and just cry. Anyway, she's just like this on weekdays. She can cry at anyone and win sympathy. Do you have any objections to what Grandpère said? Damao glanced at Qinhuai, who was still charming, with a hint of coldness in his eyes, and then looked at everyone. This matter is very serious, and I hope everyone speaks truthfully. Third Master, tell me, is that what's going on? Captain Su, we did come out after hearing the news. Bugui now has no job as a teacher, and his identity as a stinky old knife makes him even more afraid to oppose Damao. The second master is generally right, but we need to add one more thing. What's going on? When we arrived at the vegetable cellar, the door was locked from the outside, Bugui said without any exaggeration or embellishment. Someone heard something moving inside, but silly Zhu also said it might be a mouse. Later, it was the second grandpa who tried hard to open it, and in the end, we found that Zhonghai and Qinhuai were locked inside. As for what they did specifically, by the time we discovered them, we couldn't be certain. But when we came in, there was indeed a strange smell in the vegetable cellar and some traces on the ground. But we didn't understand anything about this. Captain Su, you are the leader of the workers' inspection team, and you have to handle this matter, right? It has to be said that the third master really knows how to calculate, and this statement can be said to be impeccable. Not only did he explain the process, but he also flattered Damao and even dragged the big guy into the water. The third master is right, that's all. Just the smell and the traces on the ground, it must be adultery that hasn't escaped. If you ask me, check their clothes and pants to ensure that you understand everything with just one look. Amidst the discussions among the big guys, Damao laughed proudly. Although he is currently the captain of the workers' inspection team, he is only from the steel rolling mill. The three masters in the courtyard are arranged by the street. So all along, even if he had some disagreements with the three masters, Damao never deliberately caused trouble. Of course, there are also reasons why he took office as a new official, was busy with his career prospects, and was busy communicating with more beautiful girls. But now it's different. With such a good handle directly in my own hands, how can I not make good use of it? Okay, I understand what everyone is saying. Damao put on a leadership style and looked at Yuzhu with a gloomy expression. Silly pillar, according to the description just given by the third master, could you explain why they stopped everyone from mining the cellar? Why do I need to explain? The surface of Yuzhu's column sank like water. Is this something that's unclear? The vegetable cellar is locked from the outside, and from a common sense, there really won't be anyone inside. What's the problem with the mice inside? That's a good thing to say, but why didn't you consider that someone might have intentionally locked the door from outside? Damao sneered as he looked at his arch-nemesis. He had long wanted to mess with Yuzhu, but unfortunately, there was a big leader behind him, which always made him very afraid. But if Yuzhu can also be involved in this matter, once the situation gets big, even if there is a big leader covering it, it will be useless. Of course, it doesn't matter if you can't get involved. As the old saying goes, pulling out a carrot brings out mud, and with a suitable excuse, many things are much easier to do. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 008. No eternal enemy, only eternal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Faced with Damao's questioning, Yuzhu's face was very ugly. He also really wants to know what's going on with Qinhuai and Zhonghai. Looking at Qinhuai, who was crying bitterly, I couldn't bear it anymore. I just didn't want to waste everyone's time at the time, Yuzhu explained with a dark face. What? Do you still doubt me? I didn't say that, Damao smiled triumphantly. Although it's possible, we have to present facts and evidence when handling cases. But silly Zhu, what do you think about this incident? In the end, this statement is somewhat murderous. Does Damao not know that Yuzhu has always wanted to marry Qinhuai? Of course he knows. Even in the beginning, it was he who spent money to find the two young men of the Lu and Yan families, and together with the children of the neighbors, they stimulated the stick with broken shoes, which led to Yuzhu and Qinhuai not being able to come together. At present, Qinhuai and Zhonghai are getting together, and the impact on Yuzhu can be imagined. Damao intentionally asked this question, typically wanting to sprinkle salt on the other person's wound. Silly pillar, you have to believe me. I didn't have any adultery with an old man. Qinhuai knew that she couldn't stop speaking at this moment. If she didn't speak, Yuzhu, the only savior, would have to ignore herself. No. So why don't you tell me what's going on? Yuzhu's heart was filled with jealousy and hatred. Jealousy made me feel like I had touched Qinhuai's hand at the top of my head, and even more so, but Zhonghai, this old vegetable gang, actually did everything. I hate that I am so good at Qinhuai, and almost all the money I have earned over the years, as well as my family's food and drink, have been given to the Jia family. But now there is no real benefit at all. Isn't this treating oneself like a fool? Yes, Qinhuai, are you going to talk about what's going on? Damao looked at Qinhuai meaningfully. We will never wrongly accuse a good person, but we will never let go of a bad person. If you explain it well, you can still try to handle it leniently. But you're still talking nonsense, I'll arrange for someone to inspect you immediately. At that time, don't blame me for not showing mercy. Qinhuai was well aware that there was still room for improvement in this matter today, but it was impossible for Damao to completely deny it. And she is also very intelligent, making it easy for her to understand the meaning behind Damao's words. Qinhuai, you have to think carefully before speaking. Zhonghai, another party involved, suddenly spoke up. He is not foolish either, but rather very shrewd. Qinhuai can understand Damao's meaning, and Zhonghai can also understand it. It was obvious that Damao wanted to take this opportunity to manipulate himself, but the problem was that the adultery was really not fake, which made it very difficult to handle. Zhonghai, are you threatening Qinhuai? Damao sneered as he looked at Zhonghai. Don't think you're still an old man in the courtyard. With today's situation, even if the street and police station give you the identity of an old man, I can't find any reason. Damao, there was indeed a misunderstanding in this matter. Zhonghai hated the guy who locked the door, but as the old saying goes, when people are under the eaves, they have to bow their heads. It is obviously impossible to expose the matter at this stage of development without paying any cost. Why don't you think so? Let me explain it to you separately. Alone. Damao quickly understood the other person's meaning. Obviously, Zhonghai also knows that this matter is not good, and he is preparing to bleed heavily. Yes, after all, there are some things that are also related to you. Zhonghai nodded, and it's already late at night. Everyone has to go to work tomorrow. I am now the captain of the workers' inspection team, an ordinary worker. What are you afraid I can do? Damao could sense the implied threat in these words, but this product has always been unprofitable. Killing Zhonghai is indeed tempting, but it's satisfying, but it doesn't have any substantial benefits. Furthermore, with this handle in place, even if you take advantage of it, you can still hold on to the other party, which clearly brings more benefits. No way. I don't agree. Zhang stopped, they are adulterous. Such a big thing must be. You shut up. Damao gave Jia and Zhang a cold glare. Are you the leader or am I the leader? Believe it or not, I'll have someone catch you for a walk tomorrow. Ga. Zhang, who was about to continue splashing, was like an old hen with a broken neck, and instantly subsided. Zhang is not foolish either. Although she is both reckless and mournful, she still looks like she wants to investigate to the end, but in reality, it is not to benefit from it. Do you really think she doesn't know about Qinhuai's unclear relationship with many people in the steel rolling mill? Jia and Zhang were well aware that they couldn't carry their shoulders or lift their hands, and they didn't have a job. They still wanted to live a comfortable life with good food and drink, and the only thing they could hope for was Qinhuai. So no matter what the other party does, as long as they can earn money for their family, provide food and drink for themselves, and occasionally vent their frustrations by beating and scolding, it's much better than sending Qinhuai to prison. After all, once the other party goes to jail, the family will completely lose their income. When the two losers don't talk about it, how can we deal with our own grandchild's meme? Alright, it's late at night. Everyone should go back and rest when they have nothing to do. Damao glanced at Jia and Zhang as they calmed down before finally glancing at everyone. The second and third masters are a bit tired. Follow me to talk later, and everyone else will go back to sleep. The specific investigation results and handling results will be notified to everyone no later than tomorrow. I would like to emphasize once again that whether it is engaging in promiscuous relationships or stealing property from the factory. Speaking of which, Damao intentionally looked at Yuzhu and immediately made the other person's face even darker. Don't reach out, everyone. If you reach out, you will be caught. If you catch it, you will be severely punished. Think carefully for yourself, for your wives, children, and elders. Alright, it's already past midnight, let's all go back. It has to be said that Damao does have a bit of leadership style, but compared to him, Lu Haizhong is too lackluster. Under Damao's drive and warning, the onlookers had to go back to their homes one after another. However, the news of Qinhuai and Zhonghai's adultery quickly spread throughout the entire court, and even became increasingly outrageous. Amidst the crowd, Anran looked at the 5 people walking towards the backyard. Although everything seemed normal on the surface, he sneered inwardly before turning around and returning to his own home. After entering the inner room, Anran first went to see his mother, who slept soundly. Without cancer cells wreaking havoc in the body, although the body that was already critically ill cannot be completely healthy immediately. After all, after enduring such a long period of suffering, the other damage to the body is also significant, but cancer is definitely gone. As long as you take a good rest, I believe your body will recover soon. Anran doesn't want to wait, but the reaction after taking gene optimization solution was a bit strong before. We still need to carefully consider when to give it to our mother and sister. However, what he needs to consider now is another matter. Damao just said that it's already past midnight, and a new day is starting. He can start offering sacrifices again. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 009. Zhonghai comes straight to the point, Jingru backs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The data of the new book is very poor. I want a wave of collections, flowers and 10 points of evaluation support. These data are really important to me. I kneel down to the old irons, Momoda. The previous act of sacrificing cancer cells can be considered as opening the door to a new world for Anran. Since even this kind of thing can be used as a sacrifice and can still receive good gifts, isn't it equivalent to instantly becoming a world-renowned doctor if you encounter similar incurable diseases in the future, such as leukemia, AIDS and so on, you can also sacrifice them. No, this is too eye-catching. Before having enough self-protection ability, we can't be too crazy or too frivolous. So the question is, what should be used as the sacrifice for this time? How about? Give it a 1-year lifespan to try. Cancer cells belong to tangible things, while lifespan belongs to intangible and relatively illusory things. Anran really wants to give it a try. But trying it out with one's own lifespan seems a bit luxurious. Since I can even sacrifice my own mother's cancer cells, wouldn't that mean? Thinking of this, Anran suddenly had an idea. She didn't rush to sacrifice anymore, but instead returned to the innermost high and low bed. After confirming that her sister was still sleeping soundly, she finally fell asleep on her own. However, the disadvantage of using gene optimization solution at this time is reflected, as the excessive energy makes it impossible for Anran to be counted. Finally, he didn't sleep at all and quietly woke up before sneaking out of the room. At this moment, Bugui was sitting at the dinner table drinking water at the third master's house. "Old man, what's going on?" Damao asked curiously without even thinking about sleeping. "What a great performance tonight." Bugui's face was full of mockery. "Do you think Qinhuai and Zhonghai will have an affair?" "What? They colluded." The three aunties were stunned. This is a peerless gourd. They were both locked in the vegetable cellar and caught by everyone on the spot. Bugui smiled meaningfully. "So, is it possible that it was just a misunderstanding?" The three aunties couldn't relate Zhonghai to adultery, especially with Qinhuai. Zhonghai also said the same thing, saying that he was caught by the thieves and ended up being tricked. Bugui took another sip of water, but now, with that smell and traces left behind, I don't believe it if there's nothing between the two of them. So, Zhonghai really had an affair with Qinhuai. The three aunties thought this melon was really delicious. "There's no wind in the air, anyway, I think so." Bugui put down his teacup, but what will happen in the end? It's hard to say now. This is all about catching traitors at the scene, what else is there to say? The third aunt was puzzled. Even if he is an old man, he can't have violated the law and is still okay, right? Although she was indeed surprised that Zhonghai would commit adultery with Qinhuai, once confirmed, it was not a small crime. The crime of hooliganism in the 1960s can range from imprisonment to eating peanuts directly. If only it were so easy, Bugui smiled. "Guess where they are now?" "Where is it?" "At Damao's house, while my second uncle and I were kicked out." "Do you think Damao wants to protect them?" Damao shook her head and said, "This is impossible. Damao and Zhonghai have never dealt with each other, it's just because of the identity of the other's uncle that they can't do anything. I don't believe he won't take revenge for such a big matter this time." "You don't understand that, do you?" Bugui chuckled playfully. There is indeed a conflict between Damao and Zhonghai, but he also has problems with Qinhuai. Is it worth it if we end up killing fish and breaking the net? What do you mean? Damao will turn big things into small ones. The three mothers seem to understand something. It's probably like this, but... Bugui's eyes flashed with shrewdness. This time, Zhonghai and Qinhuai didn't pay enough price, so this incident won't be so easy to pass. Anran outside, with a hint of coldness on his lips, didn't stop anymore and went straight to the courtyard under the cover of the night. As expected, Yuzhu in the main house of the courtyard couldn't sleep either, pacing back and forth in the room. Regardless of how this matter is ultimately determined, the impact on this product is quite significant. Yuzhu only craves Qinhuai's body, and inherits his father's special affection for widows, so he is not really foolish. Let's talk about this tonight. It's obvious that Qinhuai and Zhonghai have colluded. As for how they were locked in the vegetable cellar, it might have been done by foreign thieves, but that's not important. Licking a dog doesn't make you die. Anran sneered in his heart before sneaking into the backyard. At this time, Damao's family only had him and Jingru as his wife, as well as the two parties involved in the vegetable cellar adultery incident. "Jingru, take your sister to the inner room and check her for me." After Su Damao calmly drove the sisters away, he looked at Zhonghai with the same calm face. Tell me what you mean. Zhonghai fell silent, his mind racing to find a way out of the current predicament. Su Damao didn't urge either, let the other party think carefully. In his opinion, no matter how he handles this matter, he is a big winner. Su Damao, could you make a price? Zhonghai, who had been silent for a while, didn't say anything more and went straight to the point. What's going on? Are you admitting to having adultery? Su Damao was so proud. Isn't your grandfather always being righteous? Surprisingly, there is also today. Of course I don't admit it, today's incident was indeed a misunderstanding. Zhonghai is not that foolish, and this kind of thing cannot be admitted. Since it was a misunderstanding, why did you still ask me to quote? Su Damao joked. I'm afraid of trouble. Zhonghai gave a reason he didn't even believe, and I don't care, but Qinhuai is a woman. If things spread, it would definitely not be appropriate. Grandpa, you are really a moral model in our courtyard. Su Damao's face was full of mockery. But don't forget, both of you have evidence. As long as I invite people from the police station, what do you think will happen to you? What you said was all done by that thief. Zhongxi sank like water. Alright, Su Damao, you can make a price. Also, don't think no one knows what you're doing. You know everything about Lu Xiao's family. If you really tear your face, it won't benefit anyone. Su Damao's face immediately darkened. He was able to knock the bangs off his horse and sit as the captain of the workers' inspection team. If we had to say that the root cause was reporting his ex-wife Lu Xiao's family. If it's just this, it's okay. The key is that he has also gained a lot of benefits from it. Once this matter is exposed, not to mention the police station, Director Li alone will have to deal with Su Damao. Not to mention being promoted and wealthy, he may also have to be dealt with. At this moment, Jingru, with a somewhat abnormal expression, lowered the door curtain and walked out from the inside. Damao, I just checked and there is no problem with my sister. What? How could this be possible? Su Damao was stunned. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 010. Zhonghai is ruthless, Su Damao is confused. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 2 minutes ahead of time, Jingru led Qinhuai into the interior. Sister, don't blame me. I also followed Damao's advice to handle things. Jingru's expression was somewhat proud. Jingru, don't forget, you still have leverage in my hands. Qinhuai lowered her voice and warned the other party, if Su Damao had found out about your fake pregnancy back then, do you think he would have taken you off in his current position? You. Jingru suddenly looked dumbfounded. Jingru, as long as you help my sister get through this difficult time, I will be worried about fake pregnancy. Qinhuai knew she couldn't force her too hard and her tone immediately softened. You know I still have 3 children to raise. What if I go in and tease them? Jingru, I'll beg you as a sister. Can you help me? But. How can I help? Jingru panicked. She has been with Su Damao for some time now, and she knows a lot about what this man is like. Jingru was well aware that if the incident of her fake pregnancy forcing the other party to marry her was exposed, Su Damao's personality and current status would definitely take her off, and even take good care of herself. Give me your pants and underwear, and give me a scrub, Qinhuai said quickly. Even if Su Dazhang wants someone to check, it's okay. Jingru, I beg you. But. There's nothing wrong with it. If you don't help me, then we'll be caught dead in the net. Okay. Okay, let me help you, but my pants are different from yours. It's late at night, who would pay attention? That's about it. After the two of them quickly changed their outfits and cleaned up, Jingru lifted the door curtain and walked out. Damao, I just checked and there is no problem with my sister. What? How could this be possible? Damao was stunned. He never thought that Jingru would help Qinhuai. Even if they were cousins, they had always had a bad relationship. Unlike Damao's shock, Zhonghai breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing these words, grateful that he had dragged on enough time before, otherwise he would have really been bleeding profusely. Damao, I really didn't detect any problems. Jingru didn't want any further changes in her current life, let alone being driven back to the countryside. She could only walk all the way to the dark. Damao, you heard it too. Zhonghai immediately spoke up, you can't trust me, can't you still trust your wife? I said this was a misunderstanding, but now you still believe me, right? I believe you're a ghost. Damao stood up angrily. Zhonghai, don't think I don't know what you're up to. Even if Qinhuai has no problems here and you're on it yourself, dare you say you can't find any problems? Damao, you also know I'm getting old. Zhonghai, however, remained calm. As I age, my prostate is not good, and it's normal for some traces to remain on my body. I believe even if I go to the hospital, there won't be any problems. You. The sudden reversal of the situation left Damao at a loss for a while. However, Zhonghai also knows that even if Qinhuai can handle Jingru's work, it is obviously impossible to expose this matter so easily. Jingru, you go back to the inner room first. I have something important to discuss with your man. Oh, then you can talk. Jingru didn't dare to face Damao's anger at first, so she quickly obediently returned to the inside. You. Damao exclaimed angrily. Are you still my daughter? Law. Why are you so obedient to others? Damao, please sit down first. Zhonghai calmly poured himself a glass of water. I don't think we need to have an unpleasant time over this matter. On the contrary, I think we can cooperate completely. Collaboration. Damao was taken aback for a moment before being enraged. Zhonghai, don't you really think that everything is gone? Damao, let's not speak in secret. Zhonghai knew he needed to get some dry goods, otherwise this matter wouldn't be so easy to solve. Tonight, besides catching thieves, Qinhuai and I talked about another matter. What's going on? Damao was a little curious. Qinhuai's stick meme is not too young either. Zhonghai didn't sell much, so he came straight to the point. Qinhuai just talked to me and wanted to find a job for stick meme, a job that could enter a steel rolling mill. It's not an easy task to enter the factory, Damao said after sitting down again. I remember that Bang Ji's age is not enough, right? He is also 15 years old today, and he is already a 17-year-old child based on his virtual age of 2. Zhonghai said calmly, even if he can't work as a formal worker, there is still no problem becoming an apprentice. This kind of thing is not uncommon in factories, is it? That's right, but with such a good job at the steel rolling mill, even an apprentice wouldn't be easy to get into. Damao pondered how many benefits he could gain from it. So Qinhuai and I came up with a solution. Zhonghai knew that the other party's attention had been diverted by him, which added fuel to the fire. We plan to let Bang Gung take over the spot for Old Li in the front yard and enter the factory security department to work. The Li family in the front yard. Damao hesitated for a moment, then looked at Zhonghai with a strange expression in his eyes. Grandpa, are you too ruthless? Old Li sacrificed himself for the factory, and his sister.Law is also seriously ill now. If you don't help, it's okay. How could you still want to fill someone else's factory entry quota? I arranged it this way just because I thought about them, Zhonghai said calmly. As you said, Chen Jun is seriously ill, and I don't think it will take long. What will the Li family's boy and girl do once she leaves? I just want to hear how you treat them well, Su Damao's face was full of mockery. Recently, there has been a call to go to the countryside to cut in line. When the time comes, we can get a spot for the siblings and find a decent place to cut in line. Zhonghai continued, as soon as they leave, won't Bang Ji be able to take over the post? Coincidentally, there's also a big joke. Qinhuai's family can't live in a single room for a long time. As soon as the Li family boy and the girl leave, they can borrow their house and return it to them when they come back. Of course, we don't take advantage of others' advantages in vain. Whether it's a job or a house, we give money. With this money, I believe they can also live a better life. It's better than starving and suffering poverty in the 49th neighborhood, isn't it? Hush. Su Damao took a cold breath, really fierce. The old Li family was a good family of 3, and in just a few words, they were robbed of their jobs, and even 2 young ones were driven out of the 49 cities. As for what to say about returning the house after returning it, that's all bullshit. Can you still spit out something in your hand? How could it be? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.